Why is it dark now? Hello, everybody. Why is it not showing my video? Dear Lord Jesus. Oh. Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone on YouTube. Hello, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining me. I just want to welcome the people on Instagram, and then we get the show going. Today we're starting a little bit late. I'm in Johannesburg, and so things don't always move smoothly in Johannesburg, but here I am. We are starting right now. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm speaking to a young woman who started after matric without thinking that she'll end up with a career in AI and data science. And now she's in AI and data science, and I'm talking to her about how she pivoted into data science and AI. It's an important conversation because some of you may be thinking about getting into AI, and maybe you're wondering, how does one get into AI? And Dineo, who I'm speaking with today, will talk to us about how she went in. And also she's doing work to encourage people to get into AI. And there's a way in which she does it. She'll help us understand. She will help us understand what's the best way. You didn't study computer science, maybe you didn't study mathematics, and now you want to get into AI. Is it possible? And if so, how do you do it? How do you do it in a way that can be useful for someone who's already in another career? So I will welcome Dineo in. Dineo, I'm hoping that you're online. I didn't see your your Instagram handle. So I don't know if you're online, Dineo. Please say hello if you're online, Dineo. Dineo Makoro, please tell me if you're online and ask to be welcomed onto this, and so that I can have you online. Yes, I can see you. I can see you, Dineo. So you're not asking to be welcome in. So can you ask for me to let you in, Dineo? Can you press the plus on your thing and ask to be let in? Is it possible for you to do that? Okay, there, otherwise I can invite you there. Okay, there we go. I've just sent you an invitation, Dineo, to join me. I don't want to be talking about Dineo's employer, but I will say to you that Dineo is employed by a telecommunications company, and she works for that telecommunications company where she's doing a data science and AI. And we're not going to talk about the company. We're talking about Dineo, because I don't have permission from the company, and I don't want to market the company without them their permission and so on. Dineo, thank you so much for joining me. Really appreciate you making the time. I apologize for all this. You know, when you don't have a settled place yet, this happens. You know, because you're struggling with internet, and then you're struggling, and then I drive, and then I forgot the lights, and then I forgot the laptop, and then I forgot this. So, but here we are, and I really appreciate you making the time. So, Dineo, give us an idea of the kind of work that you do today without mentioning your employer. I don't want to get into trouble, but I don't want to get you into trouble either.
Yeah. All right, cool. No, thank you so much. I don't know if you guys can hear me clearly.
I can hear you, so they can hear you.
Perfect. Great. So I think what I would just like to share in terms of like what data science is. So it's basically, in a normal term, just the science of using data to make data-driven decisions, so to solve all problems. So this doesn't span specific sectors. This can be used from health science, from finance, education. Also, I think we were having a conversation last week with Prof. Maribata, how this is changing and actually then driving the transformation in the educational space. So basically, it's just using this data to actually make decisions out of that.
Yeah.
And I think, on a day-to-day basis, we actually use data to make decisions without maybe at some point not necessarily like thinking in the back of our head that we may be doing data science. When you wake up and you want to go to work, you already know that there's traffic on a certain route that you want to take, for example. So you start thinking, okay, fine, maybe I should actually, leave a little bit early when a lot of people are not traveling to work. You incorporating now data in your day-to-day normal way of work to make a decision. So that's practically what we do.
Okay. And how does AI fit into all of this? Because you're talking about using data in our day-to-day decision making. How does AI come into play in this regard?
So now I think we spoke about having all these different data sources, right, to make your decisions. But now how AI comes into space is that you have vast amount of data. So now some of the things that you want to do with that data is to actually, for it to start learning patterns. So now you want to say, because I've seen that, like the example that I gave earlier with traffic, you want to say, because I've seen that this route has high traffic at this point in time, now you start calculating traffic from different points, getting whether there's an accident on that road. So it's like the integration of that and the learning behind that, and also using it to either, predict the future actually, in terms of what is most likely to happen next. So that's also what AI fits in. And also in the new trend of AI, the ways of work is like integrating all these different components, using data, machine learning, generated AI, then to make it autonomous as well.
Okay.
So yes.
So basically AI uses that data to help you sort of in the decision-making process.
The decision-making process,
okay.
Yes.
But Dineo, you are from Bulobedi in Limpopo.
Yes.
Did you know anything about AI before you went to VETS? I mean, you went to VETS years ago before AI became a thing, and you registered for a BSc degree. And from interacting and working with you, I know that you had never used a computer in the rest of your basic education. Basically, you are from a low-income family, single mother in a rural village, and then boom, you go to VETS because of your top results in matric. You register for a BSc. What courses did you take?
So I think just to also to give like a little bit of background with regards to that as well, is that so because like you said, I come from a very low income school. You don't have career guidance. You don't you're literally just going to school most of the time. It's like you have to go to school and you go into school, and that's mostly just about it. But I think I was fortunate enough in that when I was doing grade 10, I had a mathematics teacher who was from SIM. And from there, she was like, no, I have actually identified you as one of the students who are doing well. And there's this career, called actuarial science, which I think would fit well with mathematics. But I didn't know what it was. I was just going on thinking, I know actuarial science, to be an actuarial scientist at some point. And when I passed matric, I got to VETS. When I went to VETS, initially the plan was like, okay, Shab, I'm still going to do actuarial science. But when I got there, when I was on the queue to register, then I started finding out that, it's very difficult to actually, get through actuarial science. And I was like, I'm just a little girl from Jamaica, guys. I shouldn't be able to do this. And so the other guys were like, no, there's actually like a way you can get it. First, you can do first year, pure maths, computational and applied maths, and then next economics and accounting, then transition into actuarial science the following year.
So you were basically going for actuarial science, then you got scared, then they were advised that you should go this way of maths, computational and applied maths and economics, and then you pivot into actuarial science. It will be in the second year. They were advising you that maybe you go into actuarial science in the second year, it might be manageable for you.
it might be magical, because at least maybe I would have transitioned and understood the big lights and the big buildings. And
Yeah.
yeah. So, and I think when I got there to register, I spoke to one of my supervisors. She's actually has been my supervisor my whole entire life.
Yeah.
That day, so I met her and was like, "Hi," and then I met her, and then she said you can even add computer science. And I'm like, I have never touched a computer. I've never done anything on a computer. And there's computer science. Am I even going to be able to do this? And I was like, but it's fine. You know what?
Yeah.
This is how I got here. I wanted to do well, and I will try to do this. Even here, I'll try my best. Then I took computer science. So then that was maths, computational and applied mathematics, computer science, and ecos. But the plan was still going to be back. But yeah.
Let's be honest. I mean, I always say to young people, a BSc degree is a very difficult degree by all standards. But if you choose to take computational and applied maths, and computer science and ecos, I mean, this is a killer combination. Yeah, because you're taking all the difficult subjects, and there you are, boom, and you majored in computational and applied maths.
Yes. Yeah.
So basically, you went that route, and then you completed your first degree. You didn't know what these subjects are, but you went into them. You completed your first degree with computer science and computational and applied maths. After you got your degree, your first degree, BSc degree, then what?
Yeah, I think at that point as well, I still wasn't sure in terms of where these degrees can take me.
But by the way, Dineo, here's another thing. I say a BSc degree is difficult because people get into it, but you're not a scientist when you have a BSc degree. You are just a graduate of science.
Graduate of science, yes.
Yeah. You can only be called a scientist when you have a PhD. You are just a graduate of science. So you didn't know what to do with the junior degree. And then what happened?
Yeah, and then from there, because I didn't have enough information in terms of where to go, then I did an honors.
Okay.
Computational and applied maths. So I was still fully on campus. And even from there, I was still looking in terms of what like people that have left after the degree are doing. And they had gone into your quant space, and I was like, I still need to make a decision. I'm not quite sure if that's the route I want to take.
Yeah.
And even after that, you still feel like there's still more that needs to be done. And then that's when I went into a master's degree.
Okay.
I'm still trying to figure out this journey. Like, what do I do with all the science that I've studied?
But what did you do for the masters? What in honors you went with computational and applied maths. You did an honors in computational and applied maths, and then in masters, what did you go with?
I continued with computational and applied maths as well.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So, and then I think when I was doing my master's, that's also when I started getting some out of academic into research space. I went to study at to work as an intern in a research institution that had partnered with VIT at that time. And I think from then, that's when I started getting into the background of machine learning, data science, but from a research point of view, right? Yeah. And
I think those ones we can give them a name, because the IBM invested a lot of money in this institute at VETS, and so it gave a lot of students opportunity, and you were one of them.
I was one of
an intern in that IBM institute. What was it called, by the way, the place?
It was the research lab, the one that in Braamfontein. It was like Africa, yes. Yeah. Africa Think Lab.
Africa Think Lab in Braamfontein, that's funded by IBM, and students went in there to get internships. So that's where you went. And what happened when you were in there?
So I think that is when I started realizing that the space that I have been in, which is then just the computational applied maths and mathematics, is actually the foundation, of machine learning. And I didn't know all of that. It just became an aha moment for me. I'm like, so it's the whole time I was being led to this thing, because I walked in without knowing a computer, then I'm doing computer science, and now I'm here. So now it's just understanding that. So from IBM, then that's when we're doing like a little bit of research with health companies, and we're still using like machine learning. That time we're doing research in TB. So basically, how can we understand TB from its DNA data? And we were using AI for that. So that was like quite eye-opening. And then I think that is when, after that, I realized that there's actually the background of all of this is what I had studied. So it's just like a matter of now applications to different industries.
Okay. And it's at that time, then I remember that's when you pivoted. Now you pivoted to a PhD in, was it in data science or was it in machine learning or AI? What was it?
The PhD was still in computational and applied. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes. Yeah.
So now you are in this space where your knowledge of computation and applied maths is needed. You can see that from the base, but then it's getting practical. You are exploring problems of the world. And then how does it happen that you find yourself in the AI world and data science, and you can even get a job in that space?
In data science. Yeah. So when we were there at IBM, one of the things that we used to do, because they did realize that coming from a research full background, the application side of things was not there, especially if the machine learning point of view. So what they did was to put us onto some courses. So IBM at that point had curated a course that all the interns were required to do, which had machine learning, which had most of the data science components, deep learning as well in data. So that's where I started. And over and above that, there was like Coursera that we did during that internship as well.
You did a Coursera course?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That was from IBM as well. So we did that. And I think from there, that's when the full transition actually started.
But what was the name of the course on Coursera that you did? Was it AI? Was it?
Yes, so it was, we did most of the components. So it was like a full-on course on machine learning. So we started from the foundations, basic statistics, descriptive statistics, all the way to now deep learning at that time.
Okay. Yeah. But there was someone who was guiding you. These are the courses that you should take. These courses are available and so on.
Yes, there was full guidance on that.
Okay. Now, Dineo, tell me. So you and I are talking about this. You studied mathematics. That's why actually you and I got to know each other. But here's the thing. There are many people who have not studied mathematics. And they are out there and they're saying, I want to get into AI. Is it possible at all to get into data science or AI if you've never studied mathematics or statistics?
Yeah, actually, it's very possible at this point in time. So I think one of the things that even makes it easier is even the developments that we have in AI right now. But one of the things that we actually do, like maybe just to give also as like a background for that in terms of some of the things that we do, even in the company that I work for, we have people who are coming all the way from spaces that are not data science or mathematics backgrounds. And they come from HR, they come from, finance, they come from customer value management. Some of them and most of them have never even done mathematics or some of them haven't done computer science, they haven't done programming to start with. So it's definitely possible via like one of the things that we actually do is like one of the things is the course itself. They go through some course.
So when you say they come to you, they come to your company.
So this is people within the company.
People within the company. So the company in your space would recruit people from different disciplines and they will join your unit, which functions like the program, but your unit functions like a consulting kind of unit in the company.
Yes. Yeah. So what happens is like they would come in from their spaces and what they do is they go through the program, the 6-month program. And through the 6-month program, they like the fundamentals, of data science, and they would land at a point they also go to deep learning and generative AI. But the whole point is usually just to get through the fundamentals. And what I have seen through the journey is like it's also like the people that succeed and then transition from the training program to actually being apprentices or citizens within data science program is those who just have skills in terms of problem solving. So if you have, I think all of us, we do have that, right? Yeah, hence I said in the beginning, anyone can get into the space. So they have problem solving skills. They are very curious and they always want to grow. So if you have a curious mind, because we have vast amount of data, you always need to ask yourself the why. Why are we doing this? What are we trying to get to the end of it? And you ask the data the questions that you want. How does this variable, have an impact on the other variable? So it's like you just need to have like mindset of want to learn and want to grow. That's from the software side of things. But then from that, it's just technicality programming, and which now with what we have in terms of AI, you can learn programming very fast and have. Yeah, we do have now things that we call co-pilots, for example. So you can literally be working side by side with an AI that can help you learn programming. So there's also that.
That's fantastic. I see someone called Boipelo Malope who's also talking about this. And maybe at some stage, Boipelo, Dineo and I will allow you to join us, but I just want to continue with Dineo a little bit because Boipelo is also explaining her journey. She says she's in the tech space as a data analyst. She doesn't have mathematical sciences or stats or programming background. She did a digital skills program in 2023 and has since transitioned. So it's exactly what you are saying, that you're working with people who are transitioning. And since then, she says she's done business and information technology, data analytics, business analytics. But if I'm not in your company, how do I start? Maybe I have a degree in sociology or in business management. I'm frustrated. I'm not getting a job. I don't know what to do. And I'm interested in AI and I'm curious. I mean, you said things that are important. If you are curious and you have an inquisitive mind, problem-solving skills, then this is the space for you. Let's say I'm that person. I've got a business management degree. I'm struggling to get into an honors, or I don't have funding, whatever. I want to get into AI. Where do I start doing it? What's the quickest, the easiest, or the most accessible way to go in?
Yeah. So with that, there are also many programs out there that are free. So what I would just probably advise there would be to do some online courses in terms of data and data science. And the cool thing about that is that data is easily now, data science or the space itself is becoming very democratized in a way.
Yeah.
So there's platforms where you can get data already that you can, let's say you are in a particular space, like you said, business management. I'm sure whatever space that the individual would be in, there's a lot of data that's been collected on a day-to-day basis. So whatever space you work in, you can go to a platform like Kaggle and ask for data in your space. Let's say I want to actually maybe just give an example. Let's say I'm in education. I want to now start helping learners in schools, and I want to understand what the problems are in a school setting, why the learners are not passing or something like that. So you can get data, like a quick data set on Kaggle, or you can even curate data set now and take data sets besides learning some of the skills there of data science online and try to start solving problems practically. Curate a problem that you want to solve. Let's say, like I said, with the example of a teacher, maybe you're a teacher who just finished and you have work right now to go. But what you can do is you can actually build a problem around that and solve it using data. So from like Kaggle have data sets that you can already start using in your space. But online, there's online courses that we will attach to this so that people can go learn. So Udacity, and from also like a South African point of view as well, even if you don't want to do online, something called Explore AI. What happens that they actually even apply, they give you funding for that as well, for you to go through a certain program for like a year or so. Then they even place you on top of that into to start doing work, which is quite amazing.
So if you register with Explore AI, is it free though?
They do provide funding, yes, for some people.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's like qualifying criteria, so we can just attach all the details here for the viewers who would like to transition to also just get information on that. But they do, some people.
But the big deal is that if you go through their course, the Explore AI program, they even place you, which means they find a job for you.
They help you find a job.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there are opportunities here. Yeah, go ahead, Janelle.
Yes. What I also wanted to say is that over and above maybe thinking of just being placed in a company and stuff like that, one can also start thinking about what products can they build and actually sell out there, right? We have a lot of problems in South Africa that can be solved with data. So maybe you can also just, pivot to entrepreneurship, but like from a data point of view. Yeah. We find a problem, we get data. Once you have established your name in terms of the data science platforms and learning, then you can even start solving, like being an independent consultant, just build that your CV up so that they can already start seeing that you can apply data science. You have solved practical problems as well. So that's what I'm saying, like the data sets and solving problems after you've went through the courses. It's actually very important. Go through the course, but also do the practical side so that people are all actually able to see that you have applied as learning to an actual problem.
This is very interesting. Wipilo, welcome.
Hi, Wipilo. Hi.
Wipilo, thank you so much for agreeing to join us. I want to hear you say something so that we can hear you.
Thank you very much for inviting me to be part of this live.
So, Wipilo, tell us, how did you get into AI or data science? How did it start? What did you study something? Did you pivot? Did you get invited? Were you sitting at home unemployed? Because you, unlike Dell, who studied mathematics and computation and applied maths, is a hardcore mathematician, this one. You didn't study maths at all. How did you get in?
So basically, I was studying at university in the Free State. And I had initially dropped out due to funds. So by the time this happened, 2023, there's an institute called EBL, Institute of Business and Technology. It's based in Bloemfontein, and it basically offers digital skills for digital jobs program in the Free State, Northern Cape, Eastern Cape, Western Cape, and KZN. So like I mentioned, I don't have any mathematical or programming background. I applied for this particular program. By then, we were studying business and information technology by the UFS Business School. And basically taught us about AI, machine learning, big data,
and this is
data governance.
The EBL got you into the business school to do this course.
Yes, so it's partnered with MTN Foundation. And then by then it was working along with the UFS Business School. So it's you don't pay to be part of the program. You basically just apply for it. And then they select 100 students per 5 provinces that I mentioned. So in total, there's a total of 500 provinces.
The provinces are Free State, Northern Cape,
Eastern Cape, Western Cape, and KwaZulu-Natal.
Okay. And where do people get this information on this EBL so that people know where to go to apply? Is it online?
So they are available LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. It's EBL Institute of Business and Technology. Or via the website www.eblinstitute.com.
Okay. So then you did this course. How long did it take you to do this course?
It was 8 months.
8 months. And when you dropped out at UFS because of fees, how far were you? What degree were you doing? A BA?
I was doing a BA.
So, and you did it for 3 years or for 2 years or for 1 year? You dropped out after how long?
So before I was doing BCom marketing.
Okay.
And then I changed into BA.
Okay. And
so by the time I dropped out, I was left with my last year.
Wow. And then in 8 months, you had completed the digital program that EBL was offering?
Yes.
Okay. And does this EBL do, like Dineo is saying, do they place you or do you then hustle after that for a job?
So at the moment they are CETA accredited,
okay.
And they do work along with Harambe. So they don't necessarily place you, but they lead you towards having access to markets.
Okay.
So you're not necessarily guaranteed a job, but you're guaranteed to get opportunities and to see what's available for you out there.
So what do you mean you're not guaranteed a job but an opportunity? What does an opportunity look like?
So an opportunity would be that on Harambe, they list the available job opportunities that are there throughout the country, and you would still need to go through the process of applying and going through a job interview.
Okay, so you apply through Harambe, you get it. So you did all of that?
So, like I mentioned, when I did it in 2023, it was Business and Information Technology via UFS Business School. They were not CETA accredited by then. And then last year, they changed and became a CETA accredited institute.
Okay.
So that's when they are offering data analytics, cybersecurity, and digital marketing.
Okay. So basically, we can channel people, can say to people to try that. By the way, we're doing this for people so that people don't, people sit there with Pilo and Dineo, graduates, and they say, oh, I don't have a job, there's nothing to do, whatever, nobody's going to give you money for free. So this information is very useful because you learn a skill and there's a possibility of also getting jobs. So there's a lot that actually through CETAs our government is doing to make opportunities available, and our corporates are also doing to make opportunities available. So now you have a permanent job with Pelo?
I'm self-employed. So
tell us about that's what Dineo was talking about. That's exactly what Dineo was talking about.
So you saw in my comment, I mentioned data analytics and business analytics. So how that came about, I was the top student amongst the 500 students.
Wow.
And because of that, I was awarded an opportunity to further my studies. So that's when I studied data analytics with UCT online. You can study, UCT has partnered with Get Smarter.
Yes.
Yes.
So you got that opportunity to do business. What that opportunity offered you to do? Business technology?
Data analytics. So I studied, through the study bursary, I studied data analytics. And then they awarded me a second bursary again this year. And that's when I branched out into business analytics.
Okay. What do you do now working for yourself? Because that's what Dineo is encouraging. When you go into this business, I mean, it's a brilliant time to go into AI as a career because there aren't too many people. And some people are busy wasting time critiquing and disagreeing with it and whatever.
Sure.
Once people are doing that, you guys, I like the fact that the little women, black women in Bogotos are getting on with the program. What do you do in your self-employment, Bupelo?
So I am working as a freelance data analyst. But then apart from that, I'm also working as a virtual assistant.
What is that?
I help. So I basically help businesses automate their workflows and their operations. I assist different individuals in terms of what working remotely entails. Where to apply for jobs. So you'd find that a lot of people don't even know that places like Fiverr exist for you to actually apply for jobs, not necessarily in South Africa, but across the world. So there's Fiverr, Indeed, LinkedIn, and a lot of people don't even know that those platforms exist. So I basically help you automate your workflow, your operations.
And how do you make the money?
I'm a personal assistant, but virtually.
How do you make the money? Do you get paid by the companies that end up recruiting them, or do you charge the people you are helping to get the jobs?
So the people I'm helping is just I'm showing them the opportunities that are available.
But who pays
they can apply for platforms. So I'm only charging for that part. But once they get the job, the money goes straight to them.
Okay. Also, you charge them just for that. So it's not like you are not an employment agency. You are a virtual assistant, so you help the individuals get the job. So if someone came to you and say,
can I just add? So I assist individuals in terms of understanding what a VA is, which is a virtual assistant, but I also acquire clients, because a virtual assistant is basically you're a personal assistant, but virtually. So I can get a client in Cape Town or Johannesburg, or Dubai or Egypt, wherever the case is, and I'm based in South Africa.
So explain the acquire client. So you get a company that needs clients to do VA job for them.
So I can get either an individual client, who could need maybe assistance with calendar, scheduling their calendar, their meetings, and so forth, or a company that needs maybe assistance with typing, or I'm also a self-taught web designer, so I can help with designing websites. So it depends on the work that they need and the scope of the job.
All right, that's fantastic, and I'm hoping that people are taking notes. Do you know?
So basically, it's just a personal assistant, but virtually. That's all it is to it. I've seen personal assistant, but virtually.
I have seen Wipelo on LinkedIn jobs being advertised. South Africa, a virtual executive assistant. And I was like, I wonder what this is. But this is what you're talking about, really.
So you're basically assisting with the calendar, scheduling of meetings, typing, doing presentations. So it's basically a personal assistant, but virtually.
Yeah, he's a personal assistant, but virtually. So they could be sitting in Cambodia and I'm here.
Definitely.
Okay. And that's one job that graduates can do, actually.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I hope all my mentees who've been telling me that they don't have jobs and blah, 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 they are listening. Because I said to one last week who said to me, they have a degree in business management. They are looking for a job. And I said, what kind of a job? And they said, to be an office manager. And so they've never worked. They are very young, in their early 20s. And so I said to her, do you know that you're competing with AI machines, because there are AI tools that can do that, I'm sure there are AI tools that can do that.
Yeah.
But then they're also competing with many other people all over the world, from what Wipil is telling me, who might have the degree or not. It's really neither here nor there. It's about whether you can do the job.
True.
Okay. So, talk to me about this, because now what we're hearing from Wipelo, whilst I'm talking to you, I want you to think about whether you are willing to tell us whether you are making money. You don't have to give me an amount, but I want to know what's evidence that you are making money, okay? But think about it. I don't want to catch you off guard and embarrass you. So think about it.
No problem.
So because what we're trying to do is to say to young people of our country, AI is not the end of you. AI comes with an opportunity, and the opportunity for you unemployed graduates and people this is an opportunity. There are people who are very unhappy in their careers and they want to pivot to AI because that's what they like. We are trying to say to them, this is what you can do. So Dineo, tell us about some of the AI tools that sort of can do some of the jobs that people, like we just talked about the office manager. Is there other things that you can think of off the top of your head that you say, well, the AI, there's this skill, there's that skill that AI can do. So actually, if you are at university, because you spoke like Professor Marivate last week, who actually challenged us to think carefully about why we learn. And you said, we always have to think about why are we doing what we are doing. So you said there's lots of data out there. There's lots of things that you can do if you're curious, basically always thinking about why are you doing what you're doing and what's the problem that exists here and so on. Sort of give us some idea of some of those skills that AI can do. That young students who are at varsity now, people who are sitting at home, know that they shouldn't actually think that that's the skill that's going to get them a job, but they need to know a little bit more.
Yeah, cool. So I think when you were actually asking this question, I was thinking about, for example, for people now, I think there's conversations about the people who are in the art space, for example, saying that, saying that like now there's this AI can actually generate portraits, can do all of this. But in the background of that, like as an artist, one can even use that because at the end of the day, the idea comes from you. You are inputting into the AI to create what you want. So the IP sort of still sits with you. So for example, we can have the people in the art space, for example, using AI to help them create some of their artwork, craft all of that. Maybe still in the AI, in the art space, one can even start looking into how they can create some of their poetry to sell out there as well. So I think that's also a good space. But one of the cool things also about like the current AI that we have is that, say I am just sitting in a village and I'm seeing some of the problems right there that I can help like the government, like the municipalities, instead of like operationalizing the processes that we're facing. You can actually also use AI in the same space to craft your business plans for you to speak to the government to say maybe water systems, for example. Like literally, I think that's why I say this space can solve problems in all the spaces we have. We have water problems in some of the locations around us, so one can just try to find out if we do have data that governs the water pipe, the water system, how can we best operationalize that? Do we know when people mostly use their water? Can we optimize that to say that there's a lot of things that people can think of even in their local spaces where they are. And it can even help them even with the initial processes, like ideate your business and then start crafting some of the business plans for you. So, back in the day, you'd always have to I need to go find a company that can help me with the business plan. I need to do that. I need to do that. Most of the time now, you can literally have a visual assistant, a helper, a mentor that can guide you through
with the business
plan. That business plan first, you can start making many moves, even with your CV, making sure that like now your CV looks proper, what do you need in there as well, if you're going to go the corporate type of route as well. So there's like, I think, vast amount of things that we can do and think of. It's just maybe thinking about the problem that is affecting you in the current moment. And once we have that solved, how can we then magnify that? Because the problems are a lot. That much we know. Yeah.
That's a good point, because you're saying, look at the problems that are in your community. The solution is not just to go into it, but is to think, is there a possibility that I can utilize the AI tools that are around to solve the problem? And then you go to the municipality and say, hey, I can solve the problem. This is how, but you solve. So it's a problem solving approach that you can have, right?
Yeah.
Someone has asked whether was suggesting that you do virtual office, and you said you're already doing it. So what's a virtual office?
It's basically just having an online presence. So people were like your typical office, physical office. So you would have a platform where people could register, sign up, and mention the type of problems they're dealing with. So as SMEs, are you struggling with, for example, creating a business plan, or your operations, or HR, whatever the case may be? So I do have that. It's just not formally set up online. So I don't have a website where you can go and do the things that I just mentioned.
Okay. But basically, if someone is starting a business, like Dineo is saying, well, you can look at the problem that your municipality is facing, get some AI tools to help you, whatever. You make a proposal. You can help one municipality, but then you can have an office that actually handles that kind of problem, and other municipalities can actually find you there.
True.
It's that kind of thing. But whilst you are there, you can say, well, I'm also a virtual assistant, so I can actually help you. So you can offer the services, virtual services. You put them there on your website. People can find them, and you are just managing them from basically your home.
True.
Right. So, are you making money, Wipela? How do we know? Because Because we are asking people, we are telling people that they don't have to sit at home, wait for a grant. I mean, I just want our young people to have a little bit of pride, to say, I went to university, I studied, I don't want free money. I want to work for it. I want to feel worthwhile. And so I'm not going to queue for 350 or for 750 or for 2,000 because I can make more. What's the evidence that you're making money?
I am making money, but like any other startup, we all need to start somewhere.
Yes.
So it's not the money that I'd like to make. It's not coming in on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
The company is fairly young.
Yeah.
But right now, my focus is on building relationships.
Yes.
So that I can have long-term clients instead of just having a once-off client. So I'm in the process of building those relationships.
Yes. I mean, the issue is that you are not begging anyone for food, for rent, for transport. You are not begging. You are not sitting and begging some guy to.
No,
but
I'm not.
That's important.
Definitely not.
In my view, that's enough evidence because we've got people begging for 150 rand on social media, and you are not one of them because you are running this thing. So anyone who's sitting out there, there are opportunities. If you don't want a career where you get employed in corporate to do AI, as Dineo said, you can be an entrepreneur. And Wipelo is showing us one way of being an entrepreneur. It's not the only way. It's just one way, and she's making it happen, and it's growing for her. Dineo, I want us, as we go towards the end, to sort of let's say I've listened to this, and then I'm thinking, my politics degree is not helping me. We can't all be political analysts. Do you know what I mean? So what do? I want to go in to this. Oh, before I go, someone is asking for the name of your company. What is it?
It is called Immaculate Group.
The what?
Immaculate Group.
Immaculate.
Yeah, Immaculate. But you can find me on all social media platforms. At Wipelo Malopi, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay. Wipelo Malopi.
So, where do I start with my degree majoring in politics and history, and I'm struggling to get a job, or I have an internship that I don't like what I'm doing in this internship. I don't want to see myself doing that for life, and I want to get into AI. I have a laptop, I have access to internet. How do I start searching for the right place to go to start building this career?
Building that, so I think that's a very good question. So I think one of the things that people can start following is the online platform that will provide you the fundamentals, right? So there's online, there's Udacity. So if you're gonna go the online route, there's Udacity, there's Udemy. So the courses are also quite affordable. Where if someone can afford to do it, like some of them are 250 rands. I think even if someone can quickly sponsor at 250, for you to finish your course. So one can start doing those courses. And there's also platforms and communities online where people actually show how they've solved certain problems, like spaces like towards data science.
What is it? Say that again.
Towards data science.
Towards data science. Yeah.
Spaces such as Medium, so they're all there, and Kaggle. Kaggle is a good one because they also provide the problem that they're solving as well.
Which one is that? Say that again. The name.
Kaggle. Yeah. So then the cool thing about it is that it also has problems as well as data sets. So people would have solved some of the problems. So you can also start learning how to solve the problems from other people's perspective. And in South Africa, there's Zindi. So that's the cool thing. Zindi is an African.
Z-I-N-D-Y.
Yes, D-I.
Okay, Z-I-N-D-I. Yeah.
Yes. So that one is like a similar platform such as Kaggle, but in an African context, solving African problems. So they put up problems And one thing there as well is that some of the things that they do, they put up the problems where, one, if you went through a course and you're like, I'm now comfortable to start actually doing this. So they put up problems that you can start solving, right? So the problem is a problem statement. It has a data set. So you can start doing those problems online, competitions, pushing those. And if you win, you get money for that. See, like for now. And once you, so basically like the whole thing of building a profile for yourself. So you have that now you start to build online presence. You might want to have like spaces like GitHub so that people can see the problems that you solve. If you solve a problem from Cindy, this is how you went about solving it. So you can start, sharing some of the work out there. So I think that's like a good place to start, because it doesn't only provide just the foundational or fundamental skills or theoretical skills. There's also the application side of it, and you just thinking out of the box in terms of how you're going to solve the problem itself.
Yeah.
So,
That's great. So, Dineo, in your view, I mean, usually you and I encourage young people to take mathematics, and we are not stopping. We still want them to do mathematics, because we still want the people with the hardcore quantitative skills to get into data science and AI and machine learning. But in your view, there's no excuse for anyone, from someone who studied biblical studies, theology, to journalism, to sociology and politics and art. They can all come into this space.
Yes, I think anyone who is curious, like I said, because I think one of the things that we sort of kind of discuss, even from a getting people into the space thing, is that most of the time we do have the people with like all the degrees and the fundamentals, and we will always be needed, because AI is built by those people, right? For everyone else to use those things in the back end, the systems needs to be built by the core fundamentals people. But even if you don't want to go into the fundamentals, if you just have the great mentality, so that's also one of the things that we look at when we get people into joining us as well. It's like, you're a problem solver. In terms of the tools, you can always learn the tools. Tools, it's easy to learn the tools. It's easy to learn. Well, I can't say it's easy to learn programming, but you can now get tools that can help you. It's unlike back in the day where I had to always write code on paper first for me to know if it works or not and whatnot. Now I can write my code and say, okay, please check for me, Grok AI, just check this for me if it does what I wanted to do. So you see, so it's like, if you just have that, I would like to solve this problem, and I want to grow, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I'm willing to stay up at night learning how to program, learning how to solve this. That's what it takes. The tools will figure it out as we go. Yeah.
Okay. Dineo, I'm going to speak with Wipelo, and I'm going to close it with Wipelo. I want us to close later, but I want to, in the meantime, Andile Maduo, who I know very well, student leader from University of the Free State, is asking a question. He's studying education. So I want you to look for the question from Andile Maduo, and then we can just answer it, because it's about a teaching thing. Wipelo, your advice, you've walked the journey, and there are people who are stuck. Like NSFAS is telling them N plus what, they have overused their time. Now they can't study. But they're not stupid, They're not stupid. Oftentimes, these young people are not stupid. Sometimes even the ones who are academically excluded, by the way, they are usually not stupid. It's either they made a bad decision, or they made the wrong choice, or whatever. There's always a reason. They are not stupid. Nobody who gets admitted to university or whatever, who finishes matric, is stupid. They can do something. If you were to advise them to start, I mean, Dineo has given us sort of a list of things where to start. For you, where would you say they should start?
Firstly, just have a curious mindset.
Yeah.
I think that's where we all need to start. Be curious.
Yeah.
That's the only way we're going to learn. Like Dineo mentioned, that there's so many platforms and there's so many tools out there. It does get overwhelming. But just be curious and sit down and have a conversation with yourself in terms of which direction do you actually want to take. Don't get into data analytics because I'm doing it, or don't get into data science because Dineo is doing it. Maybe you're supposed to be a digital marketer. Maybe you're supposed to go into cybersecurity. So find your niche. And from there, you will then get to establish that learning mindset. You will then have that can-do spirit where you actually want to sit down, learn, and work in that space. So I think just having a curious mindset, number one, and the less tools you know, the better. That is something that has worked for me.
That's
the less
interesting.
Tools you know, the better, because today it's ChatGPT, tomorrow it's DeepSeek. It's just it's evolving so much and so quickly, literally overnight, that you cannot know it all.
So basically, you should choose a tool. You should choose a tool and stay loyal to it so that you grow with it.
Yes, until you understand how it works, how it's beneficial for you, and how you can build your company or your entrepreneurship journey. And once you know and understand that, then you learn another one.
Okay, that's excellent advice. That's excellent advice, even for us who are not planning to have careers in AI, because it's easy to go DeepSeek and then, whoever, Alexa, and then ChatGPT, and whoever comes, and we go. And then, of course, during dinners, we boast about how many I know, and which one is better, and so on. But you all know a little bit of it. So you are saying, know this one, go deep, find out the way you can use it for your own business or for your own work. Because in that way, then you can maximize it rather than just ticking that you know the tool. Yeah. And I think it answers the question that Global Health Biotech is asking, because he's saying which AI tool is better to write a business plan. So it depends.
ChatGPT or DeepSeek.
ChatGPT, DeepSeek.
Go-to ChatGPT or DeepSeek.
Okay. Global Health, you had the question answered.
I just want to add that with all these platforms that are available, these AI platforms that are available, it's all in the prompt.
Oh, yes.
It's all in the prompt.
That's another thing. We will get into that, because I will come back to you, Dineo.
The less tools you use, the better, because now you're using ChatGPT and DeepSeek and but then your prompts are not detailed.
I'm going to have to call you guys back one day, because you are right that it's all in the prompt. What do you ask this tool to do? So basically, you have to know how to ask questions.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to know what you want.
You need to know what you want, what you're looking for, what is the outcome, what are the fine print? How do you want this to look like?
Yes.
So if you're just saying, what's my hair color? It's very basic.
But as you can imagine, I mean, that's why I was saying last week that teachers have to think carefully about how they use AI and integrate it into their teaching, because even that skill is a skill that we can teach at school. Rather than prohibit students from using it. University students, that can be part of the task to see whether how their prompts are working, because it helps you get better at using these tools that are not going anywhere, that are here with us.
It's actually a whole career now. It's called prompt engineering. It's like, you have to use both. In a corporate setting, most of the time you need to have business understanding, like what exactly the business, like the business knowledge. So you need to fully understand that. So from there, then you are able to create like a prompt that can get what you want from an AI tool. But without that, it's a tool that we just use, like, and what you put into it, it's like the old saying about
garbage in, garbage out.
Garbage in, garbage out.
Okay. So you can have a stupid AI tool because you are not asking it good.
You're not
giving
the
good
right
prompts.
questions. You're not asking. Yes. Yes. So it's a whole thing.
It's a whole process.
You
don't just write.
I like the prompt engineering, but we must pause here. Dineo, can you answer the question that Andile asked about teaching and so on?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I think just for the viewers, so the question is, may I ask which AI tool can help me get data that can help one solve problems faced by learners when you are a teacher, right? That's actually a very great question. So to answer that, what I'm going to say is before we even get, for example, to the AI tool, the problem that I'm seeing here, the problem that Angela would like to solve is problems faced by learners, right? First thing is that we need to understand the problems that are faced by learners, so that can be done by collecting data. So basically, like attendance, so that can be some of the data points you can use to collect learner, and I know it's already been collected, but what you would like to do is probably collect it at a larger scale so that you have more learners in there, you have more data, like this learner has not been coming to school for, every month. I see the learner not coming to school on this particular day. Like that can already start telling you something. Then as a teacher, you can also use those insights to start like finding out from the learner what is the problem. So, and you find that like I think there's actually research that's out that speaks about absenteeism from girls in particular. You see that they don't come to school usually when they start doing the work to understand is they don't come to school because they're on their periods and they don't have, for example, stuff like that. So those are things that can be uncovered from data. So before we even get to the tool, the thing will be like the data component of it, understanding from, what is causing the problems and how can we do that? We can do that from now, start gathering the data. Then from there, we can start putting some of the data that we have into analytics. And I think there's a process that is currently being used in schools. I'm not sure if it's in all schools, SASAMS, that helps with like data collections. It's like so that tool. And so with all the data, then what one can do now is start understanding the insights. So it doesn't always also have to be AI at the end of the day. Like it can just be normal descriptive stats. Let me just understand what is happening on the ground, as long as you have the data to just make sure that you can understand the problems. So I don't know if I've answered that for Andile, but I can't say this is the tool that you can go with at the moment. Yeah.
That's fine. Thank you very much, Dineo. Thank you so much, Boipelo.
Can I quickly just add on what Dineo just mentioned?
A little bit, because I know
just quickly.
Out of time.
I love the fact that she mentioned the importance of collecting data, because most of the time we don't know how to collect data, and even if we do, we don't know how to use it.
Yes.
So what she just explained now, it's literally something that is taken for granted by so many SMMEs, individuals. Even on social media platforms, the data is there for us to use, but we don't know how to use it.
Yes.
And I love the fact that she did not even provide an AI tool, because sometimes it's not about the AI tool.
Yeah.
So a platform like Excel, Google Workspace, you can already collect data from just using a Google form, and it automates it into an Excel spreadsheet, and you already have your data.
Yeah. I saw Andile is already saying thank you very much, 100%. So
thank you, Andile.
Okay. So let me close. But saying thank you very much, Dineo and Boipelo. As I said, I would like to bring you back at some stage, and we can talk a little bit more. But just to say to people, if you missed everything and you just joined us, I was talking to Dineo Makoro, and Boipelo Malope. Boipelo just joined us on this platform, and she's been brilliant. Right now, here's the thing. Dineo studied mathematics, mathematical sciences, computation, and applied mathematics. She's a mathematician who didn't know that she can get into data science and AI and machine learning. Boipelo, on the other hand, is a student who dropped out at university and went into a program offered by EBL, which is in partnership with MTN and partnering with the University of the Free State. And through that institution that offers digital jobs in the Free State, or developing people to get digital jobs in the Free State, Northern Cape, Eastern Cape, Western Cape, and KZN. She has managed to develop a career for herself. Dineo is in corporate. Dineo works for a telco company, a big telco company, doing data science, machine learning, AI, and so on. Boipelo is an entrepreneur. Boipelo works for herself, and she runs a company, the Immaculate Group. You can look for it, right? She runs the Immaculate Group. So, and I'm telling you these things so that you can see the contrast, that Boipelo didn't study science or mathematics or computer science. Boipelo and Dineo did. So whether you studied them or not, there is an opportunity for you. It's different kinds of opportunities, obviously, but you can build your career in AI irrespective of which discipline you come from. They've given us pointers. They said you can go online, just look for Udacity, the programs that are offered by Udacity, or Udemy, EUDEMY, or you look for a community, just Google towards data science and check that community, join these communities, get to know what they're about. But they also talked about Kedl and Zindi. Zindi, Z-I-N-D-I, focuses on solving African problems. And in fact, there's competition there. There are problems. They give you data. If you engage and get it right, you even stand a chance of winning some money. So if you're really, really interested, just get into these platforms. You'll get more. There'll be more that you will find out, because some institutions, South African based institutions that are CETA accredited can actually help you to get this education or to get into this area without having to pay money. EBL is now CETA accredited, so check them out. And as you heard, you can check Boipelo's journey. You'll see that opportunities are plenty. So you have a choice. You can either sit there, get angry at AI, the presence of AI, criticize, or make yourself the police to see who's used and punish people and get them excluded at university, or you can actually grab the opportunity, make use of it to build a new career for yourself. So if you are sitting at home with a degree in biblical studies, theology, sociology, politics, mathematics, or physics, and you don't have a job, stop crying about unemployment as a graduate. Explore careers in AI. There's a possibility for each one of us. You don't have to suffer. There's a possibility for each one of us. Thank you so much to Dineo and Boipelo. I really appreciate it. Guys, join me again next week. I apologize for starting late today, but I'm glad that you were here. And this video will be saved on my YouTube channel as well as on Instagram, and you can come back and look at it again in full. Thank you so much. Have a good evening, Dineo. Have a good evening, Boipelo. I'll be in touch.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dineo.
Thank you so much, Boipelo.
All right. Thank you so much to all of you on YouTube. I really appreciate your patience. We'll see you again next week.